Animatronic Memories is a FNAF fangame that highlights the background of the missing children. As we know, they have trouble remembering their killer. A simple security guard must rescue the fragments, or fail and face eternal purgatory from these souls. So join me to see how this story unfolds. But before continuing, I just want to point out that this video is for a FNAF tournament. Yes, for the best FNAF tournament, that's right, literally, the tournament is called the best FNAF tournament. So, well, let's see what happens. I'll probably get eliminated in the first round. Returning to the fan game, Animatronic Memories has a simple menu with a television and an animatronic that changes based on the night. When you start a new game, you'll see the classic newspaper ad seeking help at a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location. With that said, we'll start our night with a phone girl. Sorry, a phone guy. Inside the office, you see cameras. There's a window behind you and a door beside you. Press Z on either to turn on the light. Notice the fuses on the right. Why is that important? You can't keep the door closed for long. The indicator below the red button will show you this. If you exceed the limit, a fuse will blow, so avoid burning out all your fuses. Basically, don't keep the door closed too long. I really like this mechanic. If the classic energy percentage was used, you could obsessively save and close the door at night, but in this fan game, that's no longer possible. It makes you focus more on this detail, and yes, it adds some difficulty, at least for this first night. Our phone girl says to close the door if an animatronic tries to enter. Thanks, I never would have thought of that. Tonight, Bonnie will be active, but it's simple and not too scary. The only thing that might frighten you is the loud noise when you shine a light on an animatronic. Trust me, just close the door, and after you hear a bang, reopen it so you don't blow the fuse. Chica will be active too, but it's nothing new. And he didn't even have time to get to the door. But it's not over. Now you need to repair animatronics like in Sister Location, but this time it's Bonnie. No, I mean yes. But the real difference is Tootsie behind you, stalking you. Watch her with the light, and when she's close, charge your weapon and electrocute her. Alternate between repairing and watching. As soon as this part is finished, we see a cutscene where our protagonist is about to leave. But suddenly he hears an arcade machine turn on, and our companion thinks it's a great idea to go play this minigame. We are Freddy, and our main task is to talk to all the animatronics. However, at some point we'll find a glitch, and it'll be up to us to choose whether to play the normal minigame or enter this glitch. And since we're going to go inside here, we'll see a soul, and our task will be to find a plush and give it to them. This way, we'll reveal the memories of this soul. How did Beard the Rabbit call him to be killed? On night 2, Freddy becomes active. We're told he's quieter and hides in darker spots, but honestly, it's just more of the same. If you see him at the door, just close it until he knocks and leaves. Also, you can press Foxy's plush next to you. That's it. Tonight in Parts and Service, you'll repair Chica and her cupcake. As before, watch Tootsie while you fix her. With that in mind, nothing extraordinary will happen regarding the minigame. Bonnie needs to clean parts of the pool while avoiding a chasing endoskeleton, but after a few spots, a glitch activates. This time in one of the seats, so we enter. We find a key and use it to open a lock where a soul is found. We look for a plush toy again and give it to them, unlocking their memories. Subscribe. The third night is tougher since both Foxy and Annie become active. Annie attacks much faster, or so it seems when she leaves camera 9, as we hear her running to the office to deliver an instant hit. Avoid her by closing the window, then return once she's gone. On the other hand, when Foxy leaves camera 9, he'll instantly appear at the window, just like with Annie. You just have to close the window, listen for his scratching, and then it's safe to open it again. I really like these mechanics with the animatronics. They're somewhat similar to Annie up to a point. You have to be quicker when closing, but Foxy appears at the window much more instantly. Honestly, I think it's really well thought out when it comes to Parts and Service. We have our friend Freddy to give the music box or something like that, nothing out of the ordinary. But this part is easy. And in the minigame, we'll control Chica, who has to find her ingredients, but we'll take a detour to go to the glitch that's in the kitchen. Step on all the eyes to unlock the plush and give it to the soul plush. On the 4th night, Harley the puppet will be activated. When he leaves camera 8, he either goes to camera 2 to escape through the kitchen or appears on another camera. And believe me when I say you'll wish it's just the latter, because it seems that when he goes to another camera, not the kitchen, he only causes a bit of interference. If you can't avoid it, he might briefly disable the cameras, but escaping through the kitchen could lead to a game over. I'm not sure if this always happens, but when Harley attacked me, I revealed his memories. Plushie. In both cases, to avoid traits, we have to find and press X. This option will only appear if it's present on camera. So when we're looking for it, we can cheat a little and press X until we get it right. Overall, I really like Harley the puppet. It's easy to avoid, but it helps keep us alert. The cameras. Also, I want to highlight something I didn't mention, and that's that sometimes the animatronics that come through the door make a kind of plush moan. That really adds to the atmosphere of the game, and it's well thought out if we consider that they're soul suffering when we're already in parts and service. We'll repair Foxy's endoskeleton, fixing his hook and eyes. In the minigame, we play as Annie to decorate the pizzeria, but we'll get distracted and try to trigger the glitch on a table. We'll find the animatronics heads here, and once we find the soul, just flip the switches to match the animatronics. We're done. They'll give us the plushie to give to the soul. By the 5th night, there won't be any more surprises. Yes, the animatronics will be a bit more restless, but nothing out of this world. You can get through it without much trouble. Curiously, there are no services here. Instead, we go straight to the minigame, where we'll control Foxy and have the task of calling all the animatronics for the party. But during our journey, we'll find the glitch in one of the arcades where we can collect the different plushies and place each one on a pedestal to get the Foxy plushie. Thank you. On the 6th night, we'll see how our protagonist, instead of staying at home, goes back to the place. The entrance isn't locked, the place is silent, and it seems like there's no one there. Then, our character decides to stay to find out what's going on, without realizing that Bearday Rabbit was watching him. Though it's a new night, nothing will change mechanically. Still, the animatronics will be unbearable. In the arcade, we'll watch Harley and the other souls remove their masks. However, Bearday Rabbit attacks our protagonist, but this time the souls pursue him instead of letting it go. But the yellow rabbit had an ace up his sleeve and uses a device to deactivate them. Even so, the souls still torment him, breaking a pipe that falls on him and ends his life. Meanwhile, the protagonist wakes up to find all the souls gone, with one saying goodbye. That's right, that's how the video game ends, although something strange happens in the extras section, because when you start looking at all the characters, you notice a very peculiar one, the Shadow. We've never seen him. Similarly, if we visit the Shunskers, we'll notice how well made they all are. I like that you can see different versions of the same Shunskers depending on the player's side. But again, we see the same character, the Shadow, in a place that looks like Purgatory or the Void. And as if that wasn't enough, in the development section, we'll see a bit of the unpleasant. Some behind the scenes stuff, you know, art style, shots of the office, some sketches, and a gift. Yes, a Shunsker from the Shadow. That's enough. Who is this odd character? To face him, you have to ignore the glitches inside the minigames and not collect any of the plushies. Does this mean you have to go through all the nights again? Yes, that's right. Honestly, replaying it made me see the first 2 nights are very easy. Keep the door light on and close it when someone appears. Later nights require more movement, but overall, this fangame is pretty basic. I like it. It's not unfair or anything like that, but the difficulty does need to be raised a bit, especially in the parts and service scenes, because aside from repairing the animatronic, nothing changes. And, well, it gets a little boring, at least this second time playing through it. But we came here for something new, and that happens after you get through this 5th night. Guess who we see? On the left side, the Shadow. When the 6th night begins, the same scene appears, but this time our character hears a sound in one of the rooms. When he checks, he finds some garbage bags with a strong smell. Our protagonist leans in to check and discovers children's bodies. A chill runs down his spine, but before he can react, Peter Rabbit stabs him, ending his life. Everything seems to get darker, but an entity appears. A sinister entity that looks into our soul and won't let us leave that easily. With that said, our night against the souls begins right away. As you can see from the start, it's a completely different place. We now have just 3 cameras on the monitor, which the shadow will locate. If he gets too close, use the red button to scare him off. Sometimes the soul also appears on the side monitors. If we see one of the 2 masks on our right, we must wear the mask it displays. Bonnie's soul will also try to open the door on our right. To scare him away, shine a light on him. For Chica's soul, click her near the clock to send her back. However, our window remains at risk, as Foxy and Annie's souls will try to enter through it. We'll need to scare them off with the light. Freddy's soul will suddenly appear to block us, so we'll need to press the spacebar repeatedly to escape. I really like these new mechanics. They give it a different feel compared to Night 6 from the true ending. Yes, it's worth reliving every night to experience this, but above all, the atmosphere stands out. Although the office is mechanically unchanged, the drastic new look makes it feel like we're in purgatory or something. It's bizarre. As we can see, there's a working mouth below the monitor. Surrounding us are drawings and phrases, apparently left by souls now seeking to attack us. This night is disruptive and it's one of the best in this fan game. Although I have to admit that, just like the game in general, it won't be very challenging, but it will be very enjoyable. By surviving until 6 AM, we will be in darkness, but once more we are free. I took the shadow and the other souls trying to catch us, but they simply can't anymore. We start to feel an inner light that brings us peace, and eventually we let it guide us. We have seen both endings, the true one and the bad one, and although I like that bad ending because it introduces us to several new mechanics and a disruptive environment, as well as a new character, the Shadow, I can't discredit the true ending since it's progressively built through the minigames and gives closure to the souls and the children's killer. I think the designs are well done. It closely resembles real restaurants with animatronics, following the same style. These redesigns are great, and including a Mangle or Toy Foxy variant is a nice detail. The major change in Puppet's look gives this fan game a unique identity. On the other hand, I have to admit that the mechanics are very repetitive. Freddy, Chica and Bonnie could basically be the same animatronic, but I'm glad that the others do have something that completely sets them apart from each other. Which doesn't happen when repairing animatronics. It's basically the same, since Tootsie doesn't change at all. And to wrap up the story, it's nice. Do they want to continue that tradition of enriching the background through minigames and secret parts? Not sure if it was intentional, but the glitches remind me of Glitch Trap. Honestly, have you considered Beardy Rabbit? He looks a lot like him. Anyway, back to the point. The fact that every time we help a child remember their past and start to see fragments of their story, it's great. And it's one of the strong points in terms of storytelling that this fan game has. That's why it's called Animatronic Memories. The name fits the game, as that's when the animatronics begin to remember, sparking a rebellion against Beardy Rabbit and ultimately defeating him, letting them find peace and leave this world. It could be a bit harder, but it's still a really good fan game.